Muses of Mythology is a spoiler-heavy podcast.
That's an understatement.
We're going to discuss not just the events of this book, but the Rhineverse as a whole, and really anything that we feel is relevant. You can find full spoiler warnings in the show notes.
We're just going to go ahead and change the entirety of what King Arthur and his round table, just the whole Arthurian lore, because we liked the squirrel.
People have changed fandom stuff for less.
Yes, and for poor reasons, I think. Welcome to Muses of Mythology, a podcast where we explore how ancient myths become part of modern pop culture through the lens of Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. This is Story 68, The Underworld. I'm your co-host and podcasting muse, Darian Smart. Joining me is my co-host and brother, DJ.
How's everybody doing today? I am the muse of good guards.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know,
All right.
Crazy. They do their job well.
Let's go muse around in the garden a bit, and then I think we're going to meet a few. DJ, I have a weird sense of déjà vu, because I feel like we've been here before.
I feel like we probably have.
But I also feel like maybe this time around is going to be better.
It's also going to be different since we're muses now.
Yes, and we are joined by beloved returning guest, Robert, that fucking meme boy.
Hello, it's me. Hi.
It's you.
Presumably this episode is going to come out maybe when the strikes are still going, so nothing I can really promote. All my podcasts that I do are involve
Hate
strike
to see
work.
it,
So
truly.
Hate to see it. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's not actually true. You actually also do a podcast about a webcomic that is not struck, but just have not been able to do it since your co-host started grad school.
yeah,
My favorite podcast hasn't released an episode since June. Very homophobic.
very
Sad.
homophobic. We had our pride, and then we died. R.I.P.
Pride, then wrath. Now it's sloth, I think.
Now it's sloth. This is my first time recording a podcast, anything, in like a month.
We're into time.
We're having
we
the
are
time.
in time. Just brief reminder: support the striking unions, all of them, even the ones that have just started striking. We support the auto unions. Solidarity among the working class.
Solidarity among the working class.
Well, Robert, welcome to the episode. We are in the Underworld yet again.
Oh boy, we're in the Underworld. Now, you guys were here a long time ago. This was like
So
close to the end of season one, wasn't it?
Oh my god, yes,
Yeah, it
so
was a while
long
ago.
ago. Holy cow.
I'm also upset because I realize I'm here for episodes or story 68.
I know. When I said it, I was thinking of it like,
One
wow,
short.
Robert's going to be so upset.
One off. What one off?
And you picked this one too. Robert, why did you ask for this episode?
Because I'm a slut for the Underworld.
Hell yeah. Well, let's jump right in.
I love thinking about death as organized and there are separate paths and separate things to do, and everyone has their little job. I don't like thinking about death, but unfortunately I think about it too much.
You like thinking about death as a bureaucratic entity?
It makes it feel a little more not scary.
Bet. Yeah, I think that's the general
It gives it
consensus we're
structure.
going to come to. Yeah, giving it structure makes it less scary. So we are going to get into it. DJ, I'm going to pitch it to you. What's the deal with death in the Percy Jackson books? Well, not death, the Underworld. I'm so sorry. The Greek Underworld.
There's quite a bit, but I'm going to go ahead and preface this here. Darian, today, earlier, at some point in time, you told me that this was a Cerberus episode.
I said Underworld and Cerberus. That's what it is.
You said only Cerberus.
Motherfucker, look at the spreadsheet. Look at the show notes
here's
that
the
you
thing.
have
I believe-
access to.
I believe all of that is in there, but I'm telling you, word of mouth, Darian. You said Cerberus. But anyway, the Underworld
All
is
right, DJ. Well, then hold on. If I said Cerberus, what did you do in response with that information?
what I normally do, and I waited till it comes up so I could talk about it.
Okay. All right. Go on.
All right, so the Underworld in Percy Jackson is a place that they don't visit often because who wants to visit the Underworld often? But they always go in, like, backwater ways, I feel. I guess maybe the first time they went in. But this time they went in through the door of not Orpheus.
No, Orpheus, yeah.
Orpheus, yeah. The way of Orpheus, and they go through and...
The way of water.
The way of water.
This is the way.
We didn't see much of it this book, specifically, because they were just they weren't trying to get caught. So they went to the River of Styx, which is one of the 5 rivers of the underworld, and had a good time there. As good as time as you can.
That's how we can describe it. They had a good time.
Hey, I mean, it resulted in something good, didn't it?
What's that shirt that the Tom Holland Spider-Man wears that's like, I survived my trip to New York City?
So probably something like that.
Something like that. They need to give Percy a shirt like that. I survived my trip to the underworld.
I survived my
and
dip
it just
in the
says
Styx.
trips in parentheses.
A hastily drawn S with a Sharpie.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, how many times have characters been to the underworld? 4 times? I think characters have been to the underworld 5 times. I'm including Nico's solo trip.
I feel like there's
we
more
have
than that, right?
the original trio in the first book. We have Percy dipping in the Styx in the 5th book.
Mm-hmm.
We have mention of Nico going to the underworld and meeting Hazel.
That's right. No, I always feel like you have to not count Nico because he's almost always in the underworld. Yeah, there's the Hazel one, then there's him trying to get into Tartarus by himself, and then there's the fall into Tartarus, and then there's Will and Nico in Sun and the Star. So that's 6 specific
and then
outings.
Apollo at the end.
And then Apollo at the end.
With Python.
Python.
Yeah.
I was going through like snake names. I'm like, it's not Viper. It's not.
Yeah,
It's not just a
Viper.
snake, dude.
The thing is, if I had a nickel for every time a giant snake was the antagonist of a Rick Riordan book, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
I think you'd
It's
have
not weird
3
that it's
nickels
happened twice.
because Apophis is the snake
what I
of
was talking
chaos.
Apophis and Python. That's it.
what's the
I
third?
was thinking Jormungandr, technically, in the Norse books, but it's really more Loki.
Yeah, I don't think it's weird that it happened.
Jormungandr's
twice,
just not like an antagonist. He's just
given
there.
the fact that snakes were just evil in mythology.
Not necessarily evil. Like snakes in like Greek mythology were really like representative of like change, and like Hecate was like Hermes is associated with snakes. They just are like underworld things.
Yeah.
They caused death. People didn't like them.
Well, maybe they shouldn't have disturbed the nope ropes.
Well, they don't know that yet.
The danger noodles.
Exactly.
Yeah, so those are our 7 specifically named outings. I'm sure Nico has a ton more solo outings, but those are the specific ones we've got. So, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Because Greek heroes were not rolling up into the underworld a lot, except, yeah, they kind of were.
You got Hercules. He had to go get Cerberus. You had the fucking famous one that I'm forgetting that literally Nico and Will are based off of. Oh my god.
Orpheus?
Orpheus.
Yes, there we go.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Theseus rolled into the underworld. Odysseus rolled up into the underworld. I think Aeneas rolls up into the underworld in the end.
Yeah, it's just like,
Stop
here's the thing.
that.
Heroes that go up into the underworld, sure, there's like a lot in the stories. But then there's like, you got to counteract that with how many Greeks actually were there? Right? It's a percentile.
Every
thing,
other guy.
right?
Like
Every other
Perseus
guy-
never went to... Dionysus rolls up into the underworld before he becomes a god? Or after he becomes a god?
So
Still.
it's like, and it's just like the population of Greece is like 100,000, and then there's like 5 people over here, or 6, 7 people, rolling up to the underworld. It's a percentile thing. I think it balances out.
The 1%, but not like being,
Not like that.
Not like that.
But kind of like that.
Yeah, also kind of
The
like
privilege
that.
to go to the underworld, if you will.
The privilege to go.
It works out for everyone except Orpheus.
Yeah, he had one.
Oh,
fucking
Orpheus
job.
broke his deal.
Yeah, he had one job.
It also
dude.
kind of like not work because Theseus rolled up into the underworld with his like asshole buddy of son of Zeus to go like kidnap Persephone, and then they get trapped in the underworld until Hercules comes and rescues them. So I'd like to think when Dionysus rolled up to go get his mom, he saw Theseus there and just flips him the bird as he walks by. Hey, Ariadne says, fuck you.
Yeah, get fucked, bud.
Get fucked, bud. Eternal torment. So
What a segue.
The Underworld.
The Underworld. Robert, what do you want to talk about? Where, I got a whole page of notes, but like,
Homie,
where do you want it?
I breezed through your notes like a little bit before we started recording. Goddamn, you are meticulous.
Hey, I love this. I love making the show. I love researching the show. I love editing the show. I love recording the show. Right. I wish I loved promoting the show on social media as much as I loved every other aspect of doing this podcast.
Just need to get somebody to do it.
Just
hire somebody to do it.
For real. No, like I always say, Robert is like the tent pole of the MusesOfMythology marketing strategy. I wish they would let me pay them. I should have just left $5 bills all over your car when I was in New York.
That would have been really weird. To just like randomly be cleaning up my car, be like, this is $5. Where the fuck did this $5 come from?
But you like notice it does have my signature if you examine it, because I do want you to know where it's from, but you can't just. But only if you check. But you're coming to visit. I'm gonna leave like button pins all over your Airbnb.
Oh dear God,
Robert, do you like button pins? I actually do need to know this.
I do like button pins. Yeah, I do.
Great. There's a lot at work I want to buy before I leave. So,
all right. So the Underworld.
The Underworld.
Like you have mentioned, even though the Underworld is sort of like the Underworld, like everyone knows, there's like the parts, you know, there's like the Fields of Asphodel, there is Elysium, there is the other parts. The
other ones.
the parts where you suffer for eternity, you know, Sisyphus up there rolling his boulder. One must imagine Sisyphus is happening. One must imagine Sisyphus is happy, as the saying is, which he's not. It's torment, but you know. So yeah, even though the Underworld is sort of like this void kind of thing, I again think about the fucking soup void that the gods draw power from. It's not the same thing, but the Underworld's kind of like a void where even though it wasn't particularly concrete, the rivers were always a like long-lasting structure of the Underworld that was like definitive.
Yeah.
And we should talk about the rivers.
Should we talk about the rivers? Oh yes, we should definitely talk about the rivers. I love the rivers of the Underworld because early, like in the Iliad and the Odyssey, the Underworld is just like you said, Robert, it's just like a void. It's like a nothing thing. It's just like the souls are just shades, and they have like no wisdom and no knowledge of what's going on, but they also can give prophecy. So like, okay, but even like Achilles is noted to when in the Odyssey, when Odysseus rolls into the Underworld to like get some information, he's Achilles and he's like, hey, like you were highly respected by the Greeks and like you have like great power among the dead. Achilles, you should not be bitter at your death. But he replied, Odysseus, you must not comfort me for death. I would prefer to be a workman hired by a poor man on a peasant farm than rule as king of all the dead. And that is from Emily Wilson's translation of the Odyssey. Because being dead just sucked.
Being dead just sucks.
But even before the Underworld was like defined and described, it was said to have rivers. Like that was like a weirdly specific thing. There were rivers.
I mean, that's just kind of the thing you do with ancient societies because they're all vibing for the rivers, man. Mesopotamia, Greece,
rivers are
Egypt,
super important for civilization.
You need, people, turns out, need water.
Need water. That is true. That makes sense. Like how even in death there would, for some reason, be rivers. Speaking of Achilles, one of these notes we have about like, yes, there were rivers, comes from the Iliad. After our good, totally platonic bro friend, Patroclus has died. So the ghost of Patroclus comes and tells him, you've forgotten me, my friend. You never neglected me in life, now only in death. Bury me quickly. Let me pass at the gates of Hades. They hold me off at a distance, all the souls, the shades of burnt out, breathless dead, never to let me cross a river, mingle with them. So the idea that like you need to bury him or he's not gonna be able to cross this river, dude. So you gotta let him go.
You need to perform death rites, dude. Like it is crucial for this shit. Okay.
Yeah. You got to put the golden drachma. I forget if it's under the tongue or over the eyes. That you put the drachma so that they have a fare to pay Karen.
Skipping to ahead a little bit. So Chiron, the archaeology shows that they would leave it in or around the mouth.
Okay.
For Greece, I think other societies had the coins on the eyes.
Yeah. Right.
So the rivers of the underworld, we got 5 of them. Sometimes 6 if you count Oceanus, which is just the ocean, but was said to be the river that borders the world, separating the land of the living from the dead.
I can't wait, because I want to go to England next year. I can't wait to cross the ocean and be like, man, I'm crossing part of the underworld right now.
Yes.
Dude, imagine. You're crossing over where the Titanic sank.
Oh, the Titanic. They have a very special connection to the underworld.
With the underworld.
The submarine people, though, they have a connection with hell.
Imagine Percy taking or Nico or Percy just taking a walk through the underworld. And they look to the side and they're just like, is that the Titanic? It's like, yeah, the Atlantic Ocean's actually, the bottom of it is over there. So,
it's right
like,
over it.
The bottom of the ocean?
There's a hole that leads to the Atlantic Ocean, and just so happens Titanic fell right on top of it.
It's fucking wild. So yeah, there are 5, maybe 6 rivers.
When James Cameron came to do his movie, it was a little weird, I gotta say.
He actually filmed all the Titanic.
That's fucking wild.
He cut a deal with me to get like 50%.
He would want to.
Oh,
the ghost the ghost of Rose is just a paid actor. So there are
No, it's actually Rose.
Oh dear God. So there
so the Styx. Let's talk about the Styx. We're just gonna start with Styx. Like let's not beat around the bush. It's Styx.
Good old Styx. I think most famous story is the one where Achilles' mom puts gives him a good old dunk in the Styx to make him invulnerable except on the ankle.
Yeah. That's a very interesting thing that she does. Because as DJ and I discussed in our Thetis episode, not really clear on why
the plan
that worked.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have a crazy enough plan that you put into action and then it works. And everyone, most of all you, is like, wow, it fucking worked. Can't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. She's like, damn, okay, sure.
The plan was just pitched to Thetis. Like, that's crazy. So
Let's
crazy
do it.
that it just might work.
Exactly. So yeah, just dunk your child so he is invulnerable except in the ankle. Listen, we all make the jokes about why couldn't she just dip him again, holding him from the other ankle so he's fully immortal? It's something symbolism, something keeping your humanity, something. Downfall was his lack of humanity, something.
There's actually a similar story in Norse mythology, but continue.
Ooh.
The Styx is also, if I recall correctly, the river that the dead have to cross on Charon's boat.
Oftentimes, yeah, it is often the one that Karen will cross. Sometimes it's a different river. We'll get to that later. Don't worry about it. It's often that one, and it is also the river that the gods swear oaths on.
God help us. They swear so many fucking oaths.
So many oaths. In the Iliad, going off of Robert Fagel's translation, it is the dark and terrible oath stream of the gods. And Hera actually swears on the river Styx twice in the Iliad.
Does she break them?
No, because the first time she does it is, we talked about this in our last episode about Morpheus and Hypnos, where she's telling Hypnos that if he helps her by putting Zeus to sleep, she'll let him marry one of the Graces. And he's like, are you for real? Are you for real? No, I need you to swear that you're for real, because I've always wanted to marry her. Yeah, and so Hera swears on the river of Styx. And then later she swears on the river of Styx, vowing to Zeus that she had nothing to do with something that had happened, which I think is like a loophole. Because she kind of did, but she wasn't directly. That was like a thing Poseidon did that she may have set up for him to do. But she never technically breaks the promises. And then we see Calypso do this in the Odyssey, where she swears that she'll let Odysseus leave her island finally.
Yeah. I find it funny that Styx, the personification, Styx, the character who torments Apollo throughout Trials of Apollo, was given this job because she
Apollo. That's the point of the books.
Wait,
DJ,
what?
another time.
I'm just saying, she doesn't torment Apollo. That's the point of the books. That's the point of the last.
Apollo torments himself.
Right? Yeah. That's
it's not my fault. You did this, dude.
Not my fault. You're the idiot who swore he wouldn't. What is it? Sing or shoot an arrow again until he became a god, and then
pick up an
later.
instrument or bow.
Yeah, just threw a temper tantrum unnecessarily because of your vanity and made a stupid promise you couldn't keep. Like you didn't even intend to keep it.
Crazy.
Yeah. You didn't. You made a vow, but you didn't even intend to keep it. So what's even the good of your ward if you don't keep simple things? Learn your lesson.
What a silly man. But I do love how Styx get this, for helping Zeus and the gods in the war against the Titans, she becomes a goddess, a Titan. What is she? She's the personification of the Styx.
Yeah, so she is sometimes a nymph, sometimes a goddess. It kind of depends on the translation. She was the daughter.
Scenario.
Yes, she was the daughter of the Titans Oceanus and Theus. Thetheus.
So she's an Oceanid.
Yeah, so she is an Oceanid, exactly, which makes her related to Amphitrite and Thetis.
There you go.
But yeah, she was apparently one of the first to side with Zeus against the Titans.
The reason it worked for Achilles is because that's her sister's son, dude.
Yeah, God, it's like, well, I can't kill him. Like, I guess I'll just do what the opposite of killing him is.
And then I guess Percy gets a pass because son of sea god. What does Luke get a pass then?
I think there's a precedent that she set with
it's a mother
Achilles,
thing.
and she's the whole thing is like keeping her word. So it's like, well, if I said it'd work with this first kid, I guess it'd be shitty if I didn't work with the other one. So okay, here we go.
And it's like, okay, you got the mother's blessing, which is like she did ask me, and I asked if it was okay, and she said it was fine. So that's what we're gonna go with this. Yeah,
I actually super am into this like female family thing, like great aunt Styx, just being like, all right, fine, if it's your mom says so, kid, good luck to you.
If your mom said so, take a swim in worse than acid water.
Because
just make sure you don't lose your humanity in there.
Good luck, man. The river Styx is believed to be poisonous, and there was a legend that it is what killed Alexander the Great. Someone smuggled him some Styx water.
Sounds like someone smuggled him a little mercury, dude.
Someone get Emily on the phone. Just call up Monster Donut. Emily, I got a question about Alexander the Great. Did he drink mercury?
Alexander
was he one of those guys that believed mercury made him immortal?
So do you know if a god swears on the river Styx and breaks their vow, they're rendered, I don't want to say comatose, they're just rendered immobile for 8 years, 9 years, something like that?
Yeah, this is something that Hesiod outlined, because he's also the one that personified Styx herself. But yeah, it is for whoever of the deathless gods that holds the peak of snowy Olympus pours a libation of her water and is forsworn must lie breathless until a full year is completed, and never come near to taste ambrosia and nectar, but lie spiritless and voiceless on a strewn bed, and a heavy trance overshadows him. But when he has spent a long year in his sickness, another penance more hard follows the first. For 9 years he is cut off from the eternal gods, and never joins their councils or feasts, 9 full years. But in the 10th year he comes again to join the assemblies of the deathless gods who live in the house of Olympus.
Just like Hephaestus being like, fuck, I'm sick of my family.
I just need a break.
I need a break.
A break and a reason for them to think they are like, oh, sorry, y'all, I broke a vow on the river Styx. I have to take a year-long nap, and then none of you have called me for 9 years.
Yeah, I literally cannot talk to any of you guys for 9 years, so I will see you later.
And Styx being like, no, I didn't. I don't have a record. No, shh. I did. I promise.
He's
please,
just like,
please be
he's
cool.
just
Please
sitting,
be cool.
I was saying that he actually broke a thing, but it was some minuscule thing. It's like, sure, I'll get that done by Tuesday. I swear out on the river Styx, and he gets it done by Wednesday or some shit like that.
You know, there's something.
And she's like, no, man, it's a mild thing. Things come. You don't have to. No. I'll take my penance.
Well, Styx is like, if I pass for you, I gotta pass for other people.
Yeah.
I think it's funnier if she's like, nah, man, this it's really not a big deal. No, it is. It is.
Yeah, okay, you forgot to refill the Brita. It's fine.
It's fine.
Nope.
sorry, bud, and then just like pass out for a year.
You said you would get the bill next time. Like it's fine, you know.
Like no, it's really not.
Swear it on the river Styx.
I swear on the river Styx. I'll change the Brita. I swear on the river Styx. And
then get it by Tuesday.
I swear on the river Styx, I'm gonna buy you a Brita.
I really wish Rick Riordan used this in the books for what happened to Zeus and Poseidon. Like the actual, oh my gosh, it's 10 years. Percy's just turned 12. The reason we had is that he doesn't, like, Poseidon hasn't been around him much. He's literally been unconscious for like 10 years.
Yeah.
That'd been funny.
That was some
He's
legitimate...
been in a hospital bed and was able to be visited by like Sally Jackson.
Yeah. Oh shoot! Like because he can't go to Olympus, he's like on the mortal realm.
Yeah, just chilling in the mortal realm. Like, I guess I'll be a dad to my kid. I don't know.
Oh, what a different book!
Percy, you're
Poseidon
coming of age
has to
and
get a job.
Your body is about to change a lot. Let me tell you what some of those changes are going to be. And then he just causes a fucking tsunami. It's like, this is what you're going to be able to do, bud. Isn't it exciting?
Yeah, goldfish. Talk to the fish. Dad, I don't want to talk to the fish.
Talk to the fish. Get him to pay me the $5 he owes me.
Goldfish are quite crude. Like, holding them as pets, ridiculous. Let's go see some fucking barracuda, dude.
They're actually very polite. Finding Nemo was a travesty. Bad name to barracudas everywhere.
They're polite to us. They're not polite to the... Sorry, continue.
Did y'all know that the river Styx is sometimes known as the river of hatred?
Yeah. I dug into trying to figure out why that is. And a lot of places were like, homophobia. A lot of people were like, well, Styx translates to hatred. But more reputable sources were like, it means shuddering. So I don't... And like, I'm sure shuddering is most...
Rage.
Yes. So that's what I was thinking. It's more of that like physical, not like shuddering. But that also means it doesn't actually mean hate, but it is like the response to something like unjust being done that results in that. It's a little bit more, I think, nuanced than just it is a river of hate. I'm going to circle back to that later when I get to talk about Girl Goddess Queen. But honestly, I feel like the River Styx could be like its own episode for real, because there's just so much. Admittedly, the rivers themselves can be their own episodes, but we got to keep moving. We got a lot of rivers to cover, and then a lot of ground to cover.
Fucking rivers. We got the Akron, which is the river of woe, right? Yeah, river of
woe and misery.
And misery. That is the river that Nico and Will go down in Sun and Star.
Actually, I think it's Cocytus, which is the river of wailing.
Correct. There we go. No, what the fuck am I remembering Akron from then?
No, because it converges into Akron later.
Yeah.
Right. There we go.
Like when they're in Tartarus, I believe it's the Akron they end up on.
Yeah. So this is also a pretty early river, not quite as early as Styx. Sometimes this is the other river that I was saying that sometimes it's the river that Charon has to cross. Also, sometimes it's a lake.
Just cross a lake.
Underworld geography is amazing.
Love it.
Just cross the lake. Cross the lake and you'll make it to the next one. I don't know how to pronounce the first version, but I do know how to say Phlegathon.
Yeah, it's like Pyrophlegathon or just Phlegathon.
Yeah. Or Phlegians.
Why,
Fire
DJ?
Phlegathon.
What's up?
Why?
I'm on the page with rivers, and I see River Phlegathon or River Pyrophlegathon or River Phlegians.
The
Phlegian sounds like a nickname for a chubby little like toddler version of the river. Hey, River Phlegian. This is the fire river.
Boy. He's on fire.
He's
literal
on fire.
Mentioned once in the Odyssey, and then was not mentioned again until Plato started writing about.
In the Odyssey, this is just like Homer's like, it's a river that flows from the Styx into the Acheron. And then Plato's over here like, no, this flowed into Tartarus, and this flaming river punished those who were physically abusive to their parents. All right, Plato, go off.
Yeah.
Don't be rude to your elders, guys.
Yeah.
I guess there's also
be kind
some
to your parents.
versions.
They raised you.
I guess there's also some version of the myth where drinking from the phlegathon heals you, quote unquote, or keeps you like not dead.
I really think that's something that modern author may have made up.
That's just one of
the way that I buy that
just
is
one of
the simple fact that it's like, yeah, everything in the Tartarus is just reversed, right?
Yeah.
Your
listen,
wounds,
I
they
don't hate it.
heal. The water probably hurts if there was water, but the water is actually fire. So, yeah.
No, listen, I don't hate that wild ass interpretation. It's just a wild ass interpretation.
It's just a wild ass It's not even the wildest Rick can get in his books.
Bet. So then we've got the River of Wailing. What is it? Cocytus. Thank you. That's a lot nicer than how I was going to say that.
Cocytus.
Yeah. Also only mentioned one time by Homer, literally in the same context of Phlegathon as flowing from Styx into the Acheron. And then again, Plato rolls up and is like, no, this was a circular river, and it emptied also into Tartarus to punish murderers.
Nice.
That's what DJ does when there's too long of a pause and he doesn't have anything else he wants to say. He will just say, nice. Get that's on the bingo card, folks. If you'll notice it now that I pointed it out.
Yeah. Now, I don't know about you guys. I forgot what the next river is.
You forgot what the next river is?
No, they forgot.
I forgot.
You hate to see it.
Because you hate to see it. Which is, DJ, do you remember what the next river is? Lethe. I think this is my favorite next to Styx, honestly.
It's just fun.
It's really interesting. It's the River of Forgetfulness and Oblivion, named after the goddess of the same name. We talked about how Hypnos in the last episode has a cave from which this river flows.
Yeah. It's also, what was the color of the river that was described?
Isn't it like milky white?
It's like milky white.
It's not.
In the water dripping from the branch in the Hypnos kids' room is a milky white.
Yeah.
What are you looking at, DJ?
We were talked about it in the last episode. We were shocked that it's not milky white.
Oh, yeah. I just edited that episode. What color was it?
Fuck, I don't even remember.
Oh, my God. Where is the Hypnos episode?
I think it was like a darker episode. Or a darker, a darker
hold on.
color.
Let me get into my Hypnos notes real quick. Well, technically, they're the Morpheus notes. All right. Main feed.
I mean, I guess it is Oblivion, right?
Yeah.
Just rolling up down the road, like, is this the river Styx or the river Lethe? Let's not get it wrong, dude. You got to swim in it.
Yeah, this is like really important. Yeah, I don't know. When did we talk about that? Because I'm looking at my notes and I don't have a color of the river in here. Listeners, if you recall when this came up, was it in the Thetis episode?
It could have been in the Thetis episode.
Okay, someone will have to tell us. Please, dear listeners, let us know. But yeah, so this is the poplar branch with water dripping from river from Lethe would become a symbol of Hypnos. A 1st century Greek poet named Statius claimed that the Lethe bordered Elysium. And then Virgil, the Roman poet, would roll up in the Aeneid and claim that the dead who had the memories erased by drinking the water from Lethe would be reincarnated.
I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
If you want to be reincarnated, you got to forget about your last life so it doesn't interfere with your new one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You just got to hope that you're good. I just, again, watched, I don't know how much of Adventure Time you guys have watched.
All of it.
I just recently rewatched the episode where Finn dies and he like Jake, we got to get reborn. We always said
together
we'd be reborn.
Again.
Oh yeah,
together again.
Distant Lands.
Yeah,
so good.
Supposed to
that
be the last episode of the Finn and Jake thing, but or just like in general of Distant Lands, but stuff happened.
Those are our rivers. The landscape that crisscrosses the underworld. Very dynamic. Do we want to move on to what I've called the stages of the underworld?
Oh, dear Lord.
Stages? Are you talking about just like the 3 that we all know and love?
Yeah, I just couldn't figure out what to like label them in the notes. Just like, because each note has a side. It's organized. Levels. Yeah. Could also be levels. What's your favorite level of the underworld?
I really like the Fields of Asphodel because
Yeah?
they're just like they're just like the place where like normal people go.
Yeah.
You weren't a good guy, you weren't a bad guy, you were just a guy. You just did your thing. You died. Time to be a guy.
It depends on which underworld we're talking about.
Oh, yeah?
Right? Because sometimes, like, well, depending on like also like the iteration, like whoever is telling the story, because the Fields of Asphodel in fucking The Twisted Tale Go the Distance.
Oh,
It's
yeah!
so fun.
I forgot! Oh, it's so good!
So fun, right?
So good.
And then like, but then it's what is it? The aesthetic of Tartarus and Elysium in Hades is just really strong. I think
Very
the Fields of
good.
Asphodel is actually the weakest.
Well, everything's on
Aesthetically.
fire.
Because but just like
Phlegethon
just
has,
aesthetically,
like,
everything. I hate it.
gone over, so everything's on fire. And just because they needed to, like, shake... We can't talk about this yet. Hold on, I gotta pin this for later. So, yeah. So, despite Underworld not having, like, a distinct layout, like a distinct geography in the earliest text, Fields of Asphodel are mentioned as being an element of the Underworld in the Odyssey. Like, when Hermes, like, after Odysseus and Telemachus have killed the suitors, Hermes takes all their souls and brings them to Fields of Asphodel. And scholars actually aren't sure whether these fields are meant to be like fields of the asphodel flower or if they're actually fields of ash. Because there's like some etymological interpretations of the phrase that's actually used in the ancient texts.
I was actually about to ask. I'm like, is it like, because if there's no geography of the underworld, right? And for the longest time, it was just a void of sorts, oblivion, if you will. What the words are used specifically probably didn't directly translate to fields of asphodel or fields just in general.
Yeah. There was like field of something. Actually, it being ash actually lends more to why it's on fire in Hades. And Rob already said this is just where most of the dead are just there because they didn't do anything so terrible, but they also didn't do anything like particularly noteworthy.
Right.
So they just hang out here. Do we want to talk about Tartarus?
Oh boy, Tartarus. Okay, so Tartarus
is just a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Tartarus is like, it's also sometimes another name for the underworld, if I recall.
Yeah, like Hades.
Like Hades. Some people consider it a different layer. You know, the deepest part where souls are punished and where the Titans were cast after they were defeated, which is... I need to know how bad someone would need to be that like
how bad
the
a human
underworld
needs
screening
to be
process. Yeah,
they get like, you're on the level of Kronos, my guy. Like this shit
You're
is
on the level of
abhorrent.
Well,
You know
I mean, you have Kronos. You have, oh my gosh, who's that guy that ate his kids?
Oh,
That killed his kids and served them to the gods.
Tantalus.
Yeah, Tantalus. He's there, right? Because he did a really shitty thing.
Yeah, abhorrent.
But also Sisyphus is there, and all Sisyphus did was like trick Persephone that one time and then put Thanatos in a jar
He mocked
to
the
like
gods.
get out of like being dead. And that was
Yeah,
also
he
deemed
mocked
as
the
being
gods.
like to Tartarus with you.
Exactly.
He was made a mockery of the gods.
Yeah, exactly.
So it really feels like you got your good place, your bad place, and your medium place. And if you weren't a net neutral, you go to the bad place. Which leaves us with our good place, Elysium.
which isn't there like mainly where the heroes went, like the people who were super good?
Yeah.
Elysium is complicated because for a really long time, it actually wasn't considered to be a realm of the underworld. It was like, do you know in Lord of the Rings where the elves get on a boat and then they just leave? And then Frodo gets to go on that boat and then just leave? It's kind of like that. Where those who were like favored by the gods got to go to this utopia place and were made immortal. And then like in time, it rather than just being like, oh, the gods like you get to go there. It was like, oh, well, you have to be like a righteous person. And then you get to enter Elysium. And it really wasn't until Virgil rolling up again in the Aeneid where Elysium was made part of the underworld. A place where those who lived righteous lives went. Hey, Robert.
Hey. Yes.
You were in this episode where it came up the first time. Do you remember who was said to rule Elysium?
No, who? I forgot.
Kronos.
Really?
Right. Oh my god.
According to Hesiod and another writer, Pindar, they both claimed that Kronos ruled Elysium.
Holy moly.
Wouldn't that be an interesting
Wouldn't that be
version
an
of
interesting
Greek's...
place?
Mm-hmm.
If you thought you were in the good place and it was
But
actually
is it the
run
different
by a bad guy.
Kronos?
No, same guy.
Oh, you know.
Absolutely the same guy.
Be a really weird thing if there were just two different guys named Kronos spelled the exact same way.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, listen, I personally love to see opportunities for like reformation and redemption and not just punishment. So once you've served your time for eating your kids, then maybe you can go be king of Elysium. Although in the Odyssey, it was King Rhadamanthus who was said to rule Elysium. We'll circle back to him here in a hot second. And then one more thing I want to talk about in regards to Elysium is the Isle of the Blessed. DJ, what is the Isle of the Blessed?
The Isle of the Blessed is a place that you, at the very least within the Percy Jackson, this is how they describe the way to get there, is you, once you get to Elysium, you can reincarnate 3 times, and if you get to Elysium all 3 times, you go to the Isle of the Blessed. We have never seen the Isle of the Blessed, and I think it's described in one myth. I think you told me last time we brought it up.
I didn't write it down, but it is described as being like they can just like hang out and like go to the theater and enjoy music.
Fuck yeah, dude!
It's like really
Hell
chill.
Yeah. It's just like, peak Greek society is what the Isle of the Blessed is.
Yeah, we'll say so.
Athens, but good.
Athens. Yeah, I'm sure. Honestly, the Athenians were like, no, but Athens. It's basically Athens.
And the Spartans are like, that's bullshit. Why is it going to be Athens? Sparta.
And the people in Thebes are like, this is some bullshit.
Yeah.
Everyone's mad. But the Isle of the Blessed is actually just another name for Elysium in Hesiod's time. And once again, it was like a physical place you could actually go to.
Right.
But again, this is just a wild-ass interpretation by Rick Riordan, and what I also really like. I think that's neat.
Is it part of the Underworld?
About as much as Elysium is, in that it's just another name for Elysium.
Just another name.
All right, so now that we've talked about the places you can go, I think this is a good time to discuss how you go to each of those places.
You have to get judged for your life.
The judges of the Underworld, Robert.
They seem a bit partial to me, but I don't know.
Oh, do they?
Mayhaps? You got Minos. You got... I have no idea how to pronounce the other 2. Jesus fucking Christ.
I think Rhadamanthus is what I'm sticking with.
And Aeacus?
Aeacus? Something.
Ace.
It's probably like Icus.
Yeah.
Probably not that.
They are...
Yeah, probably that. What the fuck are you talking about?
AEA?
Aeacus.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
DJ's on it.
Anyway, so you got Minos, you got Ramadamadam, and you got Aeacus.
Yeah.
They're the judges of the Underworld, and they created the laws of the Underworld, which is...
feels like a weird thing for there needs to be laws. Like, at that point, like, why are you still having to follow rules?
Listen, I know he's already been cast as a character, but now I would love... Aeacus, okay. I would love for Lin-Manuel
I've seen names spelled like that pronounced I, so leave me alone.
That's fair. No, you're fine. Totally respect you, DJ. I just wasn't sure if you could see what we were saying. I thought you were picturing eyes.
Yeah.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, which one would he be? Would he be Aeacus, king known for justice?
He's Minos.
He's Minos?
Yeah.
All right, so Aeacus was... so these were all mortal kings who, when they died, became judges of the Underworld. So Aeacus was a king known for his, justice, and he was the guardian of the keys of the Underworld, and the judge of men from Europe. Rhadamanthus was a king known for his wisdom, who was, in some cases, Lord of Elysium, and judge of the men from Asia. And Minos, who was a king known for killing 14 Athenian kids every 7 years, was the tiebreaker. And all 3 of them were sons of Zeus.
It's a way to keep peace.
I will say, as we discussed in our King Minos episode, that other stories about Minos, or maybe this isn't the same King Minos, outlined this guy as being a very good king who also had the first navy. So, there are, maybe he's not the guy, maybe he's not necessarily the Minotaur guy, but usually he's the Minotaur guy, and Rick decided he was the Minotaur guy, so.
Yep. Who was the other guy? Who was Rick's? It was Minos. It was Benjamin Franklin?
Thomas Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson, which is worse. Who was the other fictional eyes? He had the three.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't.
In the Riordan verse, it's like a rotating council of judges, and for some reason, one of them is Thomas fucking Jefferson.
He was clearly trying to pick I found it. I was gonna say he was totally trying to pick leaders who were known for their academic and wisdom. I would put King Minos, the Minotaur guy, and Thomas Jefferson on the same level. I would not necessarily put this third one on the same level. William Shakespeare.
Oh, right.
The playwright? That's just Hades is just sitting there and he's going through interviewees and stuff like that, and whoever is his assistant comes up. It's all right, here are the next ones, here are the names, and it's we got Joan of Arc.
Hey, oh, okay, never mind. Sorry.
No, the diamond thief, William Shakespeare.
Yeah, well, just going through and being and then we got William Shakespeare, and Hades is the playwright.
The play.
That's funny.
It's sort of like that scene in Back to the Future where Marty tells Doc that Ronald Reagan's the president. He's like, Ronald Reagan? The actor?
Yeah.
Who's the vice president? Jerry Lewis?
I watched that movie recently. It's fucking great film.
It's a great movie.
Yeah. Fun fact, Ronald Reagan, when he saw that, he rewound it. Not because he found the Ronald Reagan part funny or whatever, but because he found the Jerry Lewis part funny.
Big fan. That's funny as shit.
And now we spend a moment appreciating the fact that Ronald Reagan is dead.
Fuck yeah.
And we continue on. So this is I think I want to just reflect on this just momentarily. How, if in the original Greek mythology, all of the judges are sons of Zeus, I feel that has to mean William Shakespeare and Thomas Jefferson are also by default sons of Zeus. As we have nothing else in the text to contradict this fact.
I would imagine Shakespeare has to be... Who's the god of playwrights? Is it an Apollo?
Dionysus.
Dionysus, there we go. Okay, so it would have to be Dionysus.
It would have to be Dionysus, except Judge of the Underworld.
There is unfortunately a pattern, yes.
There is a pattern.
Yeah, but does it just so happen to be a coincidence? Has it been is there myth? Is there written in a myth? Some Homer or Plato
Probably not.
wrote down, and the judges of the underworld are always and have always been sons of Zeus.
No,
Probably
but
not.
all three of these mythological figures, who were also then later named as the judges in the underworld, are all sons of Zeus.
And that's because a lot of people gave reverence to Zeus.
Exactly.
Not at all because of their skill. So now that we have a lot of people who have more skill, and Zeus's reverence is not nearly as respected in the modern day, why do we got to respect it as our judge?
Dude, you're really just setting me up to talk about Girl, Goddess, Queen so much, and I'm just living
crazy.
For it.
I don't even know that.
There. We're going to get there.
I want to talk a little bit about how not just how, so the underworld evolved in time, becoming just, shady place that sucks to be at because being dead sucks, into, a bureaucratically, established system in which the living...
That gives
or
Hades
which
a fucking headache, dude.
Yeah, it was way easier when all of the souls of the dead just milled around in one field together. The underworld as this system evolves as the idea or the philosophy of being judged in death for your actions in life starts to take on. Because that's like a thing in like Platonic philosophy. Like Plato's writing about all of this stuff in like the 4th century BC. And that's when you're seeing the underworld and the judging and the murderers being punished and these things like being established. Like in the past, those who were punished in the underworld were just the people who had specifically slighted the gods. So the Titans, Sisyphus, Tantalus. But like a random dude who did shitty things to his folks just gonna die and end up with everyone else. And it's a very tangible way to see how myth changes to reflect cultural beliefs, because myth in this context existed as a reflection to teach religion and cultural belief. And therefore changing the myth to tell your modern interpretations is very valid, because it should be reflecting the cultural beliefs you're trying to relate. Hello, thesis of the podcast. Welcome back. It's been a second.
We are back.
We are back. Back to the underworld. So,
I think we should talk about some of the notable citizens.
Let's talk about I was going to say people. Let's talk about the citizens of note, the deities, the beings that live there. There were many chthonic gods. And I'm going to name them, and then we can actually talk about the 2 that I did specific filled out notes for, because there were 2 that are very specifically active in regards to the whole being dead in the underworld thing, which is like really what this episode is about. But I did want to name the other people of who we can call Hades' court. Now, obviously, we've got Hades himself, and I want to mention that he does have a palace in the underworld. Obvi, he's a king. Zeus has his palace on Olympus. Poseidon has his palace in the ocean. Edith Hamilton notes that it would be described as many-gated and crowded with innumerable guests. But no ancient writers wanted to describe it more than that. And that didn't stop modern writers from constantly trying to take a crack at it.
How
in
did
ways
they
that
describe it?
Just as many-gated and crowded with guests.
Nobody ever actually got to see the inside, so.
Yeah. You also would have Persephone, Hecate, Hypnos, Thanatos, Nyx, the Furies, the Fates, and Hermes was considered a chthonic god because he could just go in and out of the underworld.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And now we've got one more god and one more very good boy. Should we save the very good boy for a second?
We must.
All right, best for last. We are going to discuss Charon, who I definitely have called Chiron more than once. Forgive me, listener. It's an accident.
It's almost like you don't care on... Anyway, he's the ferryman of the gods.
Oh, yeah, ferryman of the gods. I think we already mentioned earlier how the earliest versions didn't always have him, but he's a big deal now. Yeah.
He's the dude who will take you across the river Styx and or Quran. I guess depends on the day.
Depends on the day. Depends on the source. User's choice.
Pick
your setting.
He'll take you across for... Is it just a coin, or is it an amount of coins? Does he have a set rate? It's just whatever you have.
I think it's also user's choice, because it's like I said earlier, if it's just a mouth, you just have a cup. I think it's just a couple of coins, and not even nice coins, pennies.
I would argue that it's as long as you get the death rights, you are able to pass. But if you don't, you have to wait the 100 years.
Yeah, because I think the death rights would come to include
the coins.
Because there were a time when they didn't, so you just got the death rights, you could cross, but eventually became but there's a ferryman you have to pay. So that's when the coins became part of it. But yeah, DJ, you're right. It's exactly, according to Virgil, 100 years.
Because that's the one that's consistent between every iteration.
I do kind of like what Rick did, where he was if you don't have a coin, sometimes we'll add a charge, the last charge to your credit card. It'll just appear in your cable bill or whatever.
I appreciate that. That's a very functional system. There are workarounds.
The cable, your family gets the cable. It was what? An obol?
No, what's an obol?
Honey, who spent $62 on what's a terrible movie?
Shallow Hal.
$62. Hey, that's a great film. Great film with a good message.
No,
Honey,
it's not.
Honey, why is there a charge of $62 on the cable bill for the soul of our dearly departed?
You find out they're like, you're just canceling, like, oh, they got to cancel their Patreon subscriptions. Just one charge to a Chiron who is creating passage to the underworld? That's really weird.
Yeah.
I want to talk about just like how ancient writers did not want to talk about where this dude came from. Like his genealogy, not a thing. Don't worry about it. He's just kind of there, and that's
Where's he from?
He's existed.
Yeah.
He just exists.
That is spooky as hell.
Yeah.
Came from the same place Oblivion did. Who knows?
Don't worry about it. You don't want to think about it too much.
When Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades are like splitting up everything, you know, they're like, okay, Hades, you get the underworld. And Hades, like his first day, he like unlocks the underworld. He's like, man, this looks nice. Charon's just there. He's like, hey, what's up? Who the fuck are you? Hey, I'm the
There were
boat guy.
things that were in the
The
underworld
boat
before
guy.
Hades even showed up.
Yeah, but it's funnier. He opens the door and he's like knows to expect like Hecate and Nyx and Hypnos and Styx. But Chiron is
I'm your doorman.
just I'm the boat guy. You got payment to get across? I think I own this now. You don't own my boat.
You
Not
don't know
yet,
my
bud.
boat.
Not yet, but you got to get across first. Oh, okay.
Sounds like you got to sign the deed, which is cross the river.
Ooh, got it.
Just extorting Hades for an obol.
He's just like, I don't have. Okay, hold on. What do I have?
I have a yo-yo deal.
Deal. Yeah, whatever, man.
Take it, bud. I guess it
And
works,
just
I
like
don't know.
Chiron now, like he's just really good at sick yo-yo tricks. Like as he's waiting, just he'll let you cross if you
He's
could
got
teach
it.
him
He's
a
got
new
like one of
yo-yo
those
trick.
Dragonflies now.
Yeah, that lights
the
up.
first guy to teach him like walk the dog was probably revolutionary, and then everyone afterward who tries to teach him walk the dog, they're like, dude, really? I know that.
I know that one. I can walk a 3-headed dog. What's up? He's got 3 yo-yos on his fingers. But listen, I want to just shout out the Italian Renaissance writer Giovanni Boccaccio, because as an Italian Renaissance writer would obviously have no qualms with inventing anything he damn well pleases, and decided that Charon was the son of Cerberus and Nyx. Which, yeah, sure, why the fuck not?
Fuck it, who cares? Let me make something up because
Fuck it, who
no
cares?
one had the audacity, no one had the courage.
The audacity. The courage. Fuck it, we ball. Last thing I just want to talk about is that Charon is what is called a psychopomp, which is a term I'd seen a lot, but actually had no idea what it meant. So I finally looked it up today. And that is specifically a word that describes a being who escorts souls into the afterlife and doesn't judge them, doesn't do it, just literally takes them from point A to point B. And I was delighted that there's a specific word for this thing that appears in like folklore and mythology. That's just really neat. Just the one guy, angel, devil, creature, who this is their whole job. Get on the boat. And then finally, Robert, here we are. Best boy, please tell us about Cerberus. Well,
I know that's not actually like the translation, but I do like the meme.
I do like the meme. The meme
just
is very
Hades
good.
names his dog Spot. So Cerberus is
Cerberus.
our favorite dog. He is a 3-headed boy, but also he has more ?
Sometimes. Hesiod gave him 50 heads. Pindar gave him 100 heads. Most artists said, who's got the time? And gave him 3 heads.
He is the son of Echidna, who is also that would make him like the brother of the Chimera and the Nemean Lion, the Sphinx, the Lydra, the
Hydra. That was a bad time.
The Hydra, the Orthus. Damn, you kind of forget that Echidna really, mother of monsters.
And is sometimes Echidna is cited to being as a daughter of Sphinx, which in that line would make Cerberus Sphinx's grandson. I love that.
One of the most popular myths involving Cerberus is Hercules being tasked to go down to the underworld and bring the 3-headed Doge to King. Oh God, what was the name we gave him when I was in that episode?
Oh, he was just like a shitty cousin?
No, we gave him like a specific we couldn't pronounce his name. We just like gave him a little nickname. I forget what it was.
We did give him a nickname. I don't remember. Listeners, you can go back to, what is it, the 12 memes of Hercules? Some goofy ass name I gave that episode because Robert was on it, and I was like, haha, a bit.
Yeah. So Hercules brings Cerberus up. The king shits himself because, oh my god, you actually brought Cerberus up from the underworld. Please release him. And then Cerberus is like, okay, time to go home. Mm-hmm. Hades was okay with this, by the way. He's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Just don't hurt my dog.
Basically, yeah. He's like, yeah, man, if you can do it, do it. Just don't kill my dog. And Hercules is like, okay, that's fine. He did not receive punishment from Hades for doing this because Cerberus got home just fine before dinner time.
Lifts Cerberus like he's a puppy.
Mm-hmm. Basically, yeah. Just carried him. And you know, big dogs love to be lifted. Yeah. They think they are small dogs.
And small dogs, for some reason, do not like to be lifted that much.
Yeah.
Ours does.
Our puppy loves. He wants to be held. He just wants you to pick him up. He just has a fucking 3-foot vertical. This
now,
dog,
as I joked earlier, popular text posts claim that Cerberus means spotted. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. This is, this is a
game theory. No,
because it is connection to. It's a rock fact. It's a connection to a Proto-Indo-European word that sounds similar and means spotted. But most contemporary scholars have completely rejected this etymology. And it's like, no, that's not it. So there's no clear, concise agreed upon what Cerberus means, but it's probably not spotted. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry it's not. Hades didn't name his dog Spot. But Mickey named his dog Pluto. That's nice. So you have that. We get to talk about pop culture now. It's so good. Now, specifically, there are lots of depictions of an underworld or an afterlife. We're going to specifically focus on ones that are very clearly more Greek underworld inspired and not just doing the underworld as a stand-in for the word when they actually mean hell.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Lore Olympus.
Lore Olympus has a very fun one.
It's a very metropolitan urban vibe. There are skyscrapers.
If you took
coffee shops
Brooklyn and made it into the underworld.
I was gonna ask. I was worried about hesitant to New York.
I also
Robert will
see
tell
the
me which
New
one
York
is
parallels.
specific.
Kind of. I would think New York,
but it's.
I would
Brooklyn.
imagine more Brooklyn, or maybe
nice.
the bougie parts of Manhattan.
I was viewing it as L.A.
L.A. also works.
Right.
Ooh, not L.A. L.A. Well, maybe if you took L.A. and crushed it with New York, because it's just the buildings.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I really like the underworld in Lore Olympus. It's so...
No, it's awesome. It looks
everything
great.
is so organized.
Yeah.
But there's no... there's no Elysium in the beginning. That's something we get... Persephone talks about how she wants to create a place in underworld for, mortals to go. Because the underworld is, we see it as where, all the chthonic gods live and that society and how it operates, but the actual place where the human souls go is very much just them meandering and not going anywhere. So I love, because I think there are traces of myth and story that say Persephone is the one who created Elysium, or that it didn't exist before she got there. And I really like that in Lore Olympus, she is actively I'm going to build this shit. Let's roll.
Yeah, that's how Assassin's Creed Odyssey also had that specific kind of thing to it as well. In the DLC, the first place you go to is Elysium, and it's Hermes is there to guide you and help you. And he says, "Yeah, Persephone made it. It's her realm, and you got to go talk to her if you want to go deeper."
Oh, that's really cool. I'm gonna save Girl Goddess Queen for later because I'm gonna pop off real hard.
You know what I'm
gonna
bring up?
No, Robert, tell me.
Again, it's technically bringing up Starkwork, but fuck the AMPTP. Quickly to mention Once Upon a Time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of hard with our... we aren't promoting any of these. We are discussing the influence of ancient story on modern pop culture, and it would not... we're just going to talk about
the working class. Also, maybe just don't watch Once Upon a Time anyways.
Also, maybe just don't watch Once Upon a Time anyway. Sorry, story for friends.
Yeah, sorry about that. Where for a whole, or for half a season, the main cast go to the underworld, where It is
such a
pretty
waste.
much just like a negative version of Storybrooke with terrible CGI, terrible characters who have been dead, and just
not productive. Not I would say a productive arc, not a particularly like interesting.
How do you fuck
one.
up Camelot and Greek mythology? Like, okay, anyway,
It's honestly it's incredible. How do you back to back fuck up Camelot and Greek mythology? Honestly, and on one hand, yes, I don't even remember anything except one time they were standing on a bridge and had to be honest with each other about their feelings. What the fuck was that? A lot of blue, a lot of rocks. It just physically looked like a cave.
Which, I mean, hey, I feel like there was something I read a long time ago that's like, yeah, the underworld is just like a giant ass cave, but like a cave that goes on forever somehow.
Yeah, because there are like, you can reach the underworld at the bottom of this lake, or there are entrances like through caverns and stuff. So yeah, okay. I think you also, for Once Upon a Time, everything was operating on like a reflection of a Disney version of the story. So they were operating off of the version of the underworld that appeared in Disney's Hercules, which still beat ass compared to what Once Upon a Time did. Like, Disney's Hercules Underworld is very much just like a hell. Like, there is no Elysium. There is no souls being judged. They all just go to, I would say it's probably like the river of like lamentation.
The way that the Go the Distance describes it is the moment you get there, and like, but when you die before you make it to the underworld and like the real underworld when you're on Karen's boat, all of your family that's in the underworld get notified essentially, so they can meet you when you go there. And then it's just kind of like a party when you show up, that you get to be there for like a day, maybe two, hang out, have a good time, and then you go off, and then it's the land of minor inconveniences. Your clothes don't fit right. There's always construction off in the distance. You can never quite get enough to eat. It's just the land of straight minor inconveniences, and it's so funny to me.
It's so funny, and it's also because for listeners who don't aware, or like that transition wasn't like clear enough. So Go the Distance. DJ isn't just talking about the song in the movie. That is the name of a Twisted Tale book. That's like this is the best one. It's what if Megara had to become a Greek god. We did a whole episode about it on Bunker 9 a couple years back. It is the best one. But also in it, there is Persephone. Amazing.
She's a lot of fun.
She's a lot of fun. She's crazy. She's just a little bit crazy. And so it's so good. And there's this line, I think, DJ, you mentioned, where it talks about how Hades never makes the kids go on the boat. They get to stay in the field space.
They're on the boat, and then there's like, it's a big area that's got the party and like a field of sunflowers, I think, of the asphodels.
Okay, yeah.
And everything. And if a kid dies, Hades does look the other way if they don't go away from the party area.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like he lets them stay in the field with the party forever. He never makes them go anywhere else. And I'm like, that's really nice, I think. Like, that's just an interesting characterization.
Okay, so I'm trying to find a picture so I can actually use it. So My Little Pony Friendship of Magic also had an underworld, and they had to find Cerberus in an episode.
Yes, they did, DJ. Do you want me to share you a picture of Cerberus? Because I've got it.
I bet Cerberus looks adorable. I was trying to find a picture. Oh, yeah, that's right. He's a fucking bulldog.
It just looks like a chonky bulldog, which is fine. Like, not to say bulldogs aren't adorable, but
I think that's adorable.
The show's full of pastels ponies, so.
Yeah, so I was trying to find a picture of the underworld since we're looking for specifically Greek underworlds.
It's Tartarus.
Apparently, there is, in fact, a fan-made series called My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Underworld.
I just straight up end up in like almost a deep dive on
Friendship in the Underworld, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, My Little Pony fans went and they took that and they ran with it. This is an extensive piece of fan culture. I had to pull myself out of it, like Percy imagining Annabeth ripping him out of the river Styx. Like, I was about to lose myself in exploring this. So My Little Pony Friendship is Magic does in fact have a Tartarus. The ponies do get trapped there briefly in the end of season 8. I maybe did a Wikipedia deep dive on this. Don't worry about it. I'm okay.
There were 8 seasons. I stopped after 4.
I think there were more than 8, DJ. I'm pretty sure 8 wasn't the last one.
I bet they were great. I bet they were awesome.
I bet they were fun. Yeah, I just didn't keep up with them. We should circle back to Adventure Time just real quick.
Okay. It's got an underworld.
It's got an underworld.
I wasn't going to bring it up because it wasn't really Grecian.
It's not Grecian, but it does have different places where people go.
It's got like 42 levels of the underworld.
Yes, and I think an underworld that isn't just one, full of torment, and 2, has different layers, all interconnected depending on like how you lived, qualifies in this sphere of influenced by Greek underworld. Yeah, it's just real good. I don't have any thoughts. I just wanted to shout it out.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, no, I mean, I was just about to go on a tangent about Adventure Time in the last episode, but
just come on.
Do you want to go to?
It's just how much I love it. It's straight up just how much, like, it's so much fun. If you guys haven't seen Distant Lands or Adventure Time at all, I highly recommend it.
Wait, we can't actually recommend anything right now. I just remembered we're not doing that. We can't. We can't.
Bleep it out then. Be like, I blank. Because let me tell you, fuck, dude. Like, I have watched Adventure Time for the better part of my life. Being able to get a very neat bow on and we know that like Finn has had previous lives too. Together again shows that he's always been with Jake.
Yeah.
Jake turns into the tiger that Yoko, I think was his previous name. I can't remember. Maybe it was Shoko. She had a tiger companion, and Jake was the tiger companion. So it shows that he's always been with Jake, and then they get reincarnated again. I don't know. It's just fun. Yeah. It's just awesome. I love it so much.
Okay, can we talk briefly? So Adventure Time also has the concept of reincarnation, but you're not required to like forget your life before you can reincarnate.
You just do.
You just reincarnate, and sometimes you can tap into the memory, which is what Finn does in the episode where we find out about Shoko, because there's like a ghost. And so it also kind of implies that while you do reincarnate, pieces of your soul remained as that forever.
To be fair, Shoko did get like fucked up by the ancient Lich River.
Yeah. And so that also begs the question, like, so she's one of Finn's past lives, so her soul is what Finn is, but also ghost?
Yeah.
It's not one time. She appears as a ghost in 3 different episodes. You know, but...
Well, it might be referencing the same thing. In the 3 episodes, it might just be referencing that one.
After her death, Shoko appears to Finn as an amorphous ghost in The Creeps, King Worm, and The Vault.
The Vault is him remembering it.
Yes,
I know that much.
But that's the one where he finally remembers. But I think the other 2 are Finn has seen this ghost a couple of times.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to look at King Worm specifically, but
anyway, I just think that's a very unique approach to the reincarnation thing.
Oh yeah,
and it vibes with the unique approach that Adventure Time takes to the layers of the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
Brief sideline to his Dark Materials, where there is an afterlife, but it's like the proto version of the Greek afterlife, where it's shady and it sucks. And shady as in like a place of like shrouds and shadow, not shady as in like fun summer day shade.
Not shady like will the real Slim Shady please stand up.
Just kind of sketchy and weird. But that vibes with the whole his Dark Materials thing. And I just wanted to shout out real brief because I liked when I was looking up stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, this feels like the proto mythology one, and I want to drop that real quick because I don't think we see that a lot in pop culture because it's boring. And if you're gonna do an underworld type narrative and it's just shady like that, then your narrative probably isn't really about being in the underworld and doing adventure things. It's about something else.
Ooh.
Did you talk about Hades for a bit?
Hades is great. It's a wonderful game. I recommend it. It's got as I said earlier, it's got like a really sweet depiction of Tartarus. Mm-hmm. And I think it is just so funny to me that Tartarus is the easiest stage.
Yeah, it is. Well, it is like Zagreus' backyard.
Like I understand that.
And
but it's the place of the worst.
Yeah, but it's like the spirits of Elysium, I think, are like
I understand why the
spirits of
spirits of
heroes.
Elysium. Yeah, I understand why the spirits of Elysium would be the hardest. They're the people who bested the people in Tartarus. But why is Asphodel harder than Tartarus?
Maybe because the spirits in Tartarus don't really want to keep you there because they're being told to by Hades, and since they're being punished, they're not really trying as hard as they could be.
I like that headcanon.
Everybody has to stay there. They are all being kept there.
Yeah.
The spirits of Asphodel can't go to Elysium. I think Elysium the only one that are enjoying this shit.
Yeah. I already said my one Hades thing about, like, why is Asphodel on fire? Oh, wait, if the interpretation might actually mean ash, that's so interesting. Also, you needed, like, a fire level, right? Like, otherwise,
Yes.
visually, you had to have something else, I guess.
If I remember correctly, Heroes of a Hammerwatch doesn't have a fire level, but that's neither here nor there, I guess.
I don't know what to tell you. You can fight Charon in Hades. If you go to him and you see a bag of gold behind him and you try to take it, he drags you into, like, the deepest pit of Tartarus, and you have to fight him, and he will almost always kick your ass. But if you go and talk to Nyx about it later, and Zagreus, I feel kind of bad about it. I don't know. I think I offended him. Nyx will be like, no. I actually think he had a great time. Like, he actually loves that. He respects you so much.
I got a goddamn, what the hell is it called? Prophecy? To beat him twice in a row. I beat him once, and I went at him again, and I didn't get nearly as good, like, stuff, so I lost.
Yeah.
It pissed me off.
I'm sorry. That's a bummer. Yeah, that game is a lot. May I gush, please?
Okay.
May I gush about Girl
Yes, of
Goddess
course.
Queen?
Go ahead.
Please. Okay, so Girl Goddess Queen. I've talked about it before. I will talk about it again. If you leave us a happy review, screenshot it, and send it to our email, MusesOfMythology@gmail.com, you may win a copy of this book that I will send you. It's great. The whole premise is Persephone going to the underworld for the first time and what that story is, and everything about it's very cool. But two things I want to talk about specifically in context for this episode is when Persephone gets there, it very much is that, like, empty, all the souls are together type underworld. As she's, like, kind of exploring where she's at, Persephone encounters the souls of those who met terrible fates. And she encounters this one woman who is terrified. Like, the soul is so scared. And Persephone realizes, like, how she died was, like, horribly and in fear. And she tries to comfort her. It's like, no one else can hurt you here. And this woman is like, you don't understand. They're down here now, too. I am forever at risk of seeing and running into them again down here. And Persephone's like, wait, that's fucked up. Hold up. And so she's like, we need to separate the souls. And she tells Hades about this. He's like, okay. I understand where you're coming from. But I don't think just helping the souls is actually the full reason why you want to do this. And she's like, okay, fine. I also want to completely undermine the system of Olympus. Because her whole thing is like, we need to punish people who did bad and reward the people who did good. And if the humans know that if they live their lives causing harm, that they will be punished and death, then why will they continue to worship gods who cause harm? It's like you were saying earlier about, well, back then we really cared about Zeus, but in the modern era, Zeus kind of sucks. Don't be like Zeus. Why would all the judges be sons of Zeus now? That's exactly what Persephone in Girl Goddess Queen is trying to do. It's remarkable. This book, so good. If you can buy it, buy it. If you aren't where it's sold, leave us a review. Tell us why you like the show. Send us a screenshot. Send that screenshot. Take a screenshot. Send it to our email. Let me potentially send you a free copy of this book. Not affiliated with the publisher. Just a fun thing we're doing. So that's, I think, a really cool take on the underworld. Like the book is like literally seeing Persephone and Hades create the underworld. And it's cool. And what's also really cool is before they do that, there are already all of the rivers.
But, I mean, as we said earlier, the rivers have been there since it was Oblivion.
Yeah, exactly. So it's cool that in this book, like, B. Fitzgerald, the author, like, had that in account. Like, the underworld is just this, but the rivers have always been there. And that's very... Fitzgerald clearly did a ton of, like, research and did a lot to put this together, her story together. It's very cool. Can't recommend it enough. It's a book. I can recommend it. Woo! But we get to meet all of the goddesses of the rivers, including Styx, who is my favorite character in this book. Like, she is she knows everybody's secrets because she just inherently knows everybody's secrets, even when they swear it or not. Like, she knows them. And so she and Hades are like best friends because he has to be her best friend. She knows all his secrets, but not where he keeps the wine. She doesn't know that secret. But I think her introduction is like one of the best introductions of any character I've read in a long time. And I strive to create such a good introduction for a character because Persephone goes to the underworld of her own free will. To make sure nobody finds out that she's there, Hades dismisses his entire court. Mm-hmm. And when Persephone goes out, she creates a field of asphodel flowers to fuck with Hades. And then also she sees the river of Styx and creates a Styx flower because she's inspired by it. And so Styx knows there's like a goddess in the underworld. And so she rolls up to Hades' like palace and like chews him out because she's like, I cannot believe you would kidnap this girl. I cannot believe. It's like she's so angry and she's so disappointed in him. Persephone comes out. She's like, nope, he didn't do that. I came of my own volition. And she like grabs her and looks her over. She's like, you and I are going to take a walk. We're just going to take a walk. It's all cool here. But one, really cool. Love to see women defending women. But I think that it also serves in the conversation, because I covered this book on the Remake episode. DJ was not there, but my girlfriend Kelsey was. And we talked about the scene. Kelsey pointed out how it's used mechanically to demonstrate how Hades' realm is so different than Zeus's. Because Athena would never talk to Zeus that way or stand up to Zeus like that. But the fact that Styx has no qualms about doing that demonstrates that it's the realm and the way. Because even afterwards, when she like Styx is like, oh, like you can trust Hades, he's a good guy. And Persephone's like, you thought he kidnapped me and you were ready to kill him. She's like, don't take that seriously. I'm the goddess of hate. And talking earlier, we talked about hate and it being that shuddering rage, that like response to injustice and broken promises. Like she's angry because she perceives Hades has like done something she would never believe he would actually do because he's in this character in this book is not that kind of person. And so it's very, I love Styx. I briefly considered being her for our literary themed Halloween party that we're throwing that Robert will be at because they're coming to town. I am instead going to join my girlfriend and her roommate in being hyper-specific Twilight vampire scenes. Nice. It's going to be a good time. Do we have any other... We've been here for 90 minutes. Do we have any other Underworld thought? Whoa, DJ, what? I wasn't prepared.
And Charon are both in SMITE. Charon's actually very new. He came out a couple updates ago. Both a lot of fun, both Guardians. Charon's a ranged Guardian, which doesn't happen often. There's only been 2 now because a while back they made Hades mage.
Huh.
Yeah, both a lot
and
of fun.
And what's Cerberus?
Cerberus, he's a Guardian.
Just a little guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you said both. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Both really fun. Both have, Charon doesn't have like any skins yet, but Cerberus has got some fun ones.
Oh my God, what's your favorite Cerberus skin? I'm looking it up right now.
There's 2. There's Pup Patrol, as well as Cerberus.
Oh my God, it's so cute! Hold on, I need to see what he looks like for comparison, because I just looked up Pup Patrol first. Okay, very cool. Oh, he's even got the snaky tail that we don't often see. Yeah. That's very good.
Warmaker.
Okay, let me... Oh, he's got a lot.
Yeah, he's got a lot.
He's just like a robot.
Yeah, he's also got the RuneScape skin, Black Dragon, King Black Dragon.
Oh, that one's cool. It looks very...
is because his animations are different.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Like
I just looked up one called Dino Mighty.
Yeah, Dino Mighty is so goofy.
He's like a little cartoon dino.
Dino Mighty.
Yeah.
That is an alternative name for one of Ben Tennyson's transformations.
Karen's default voice pack sounds like a pirate, and I love it.
Why does he sound like a pirate?
I couldn't tell you, but he sounds like a fucking yar matey pirate. You know, it's awesome.
You know, I'm not even mad. I actually, for some reason, think that works. Karen doesn't say anything in Hades.
No.
And so I never really thought about what I would want him to sound like, but a pirate is actually the correct thing. It's the one thing Hades got wrong. Is that actually Karen should be a pirate.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping that there would be a place to play voice lines here on the SMITE page. Oh, yeah, here it is. Charon voice lines. Listen to some of his voice lines.
Okay, hold on. I gotta get... All right, let me get back to the page.
Abandon all hope. The Underworld calls.
He does sound like
He's a Yarmady past pirate, dude. It's fucking awesome.
this is a pirate. He's just a pirate.
He's a real ass pirate. It's fucking awesome. And he like rolls around on his boat.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. He just like paddles across the battlefield on his boat. It's awesome.
DJ, thank you so much for sharing Pirate Charon with us today. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Of course.
Robert, did you have any surprise last minute cards you wanted to play?
No, I do not.
Okay. Well, then let's go on through. We don't have the gift shop anymore. Wow, I don't know why I almost said that. We've never had the gift shop. That's
We haven't had the gift shop in a minute.
No, Camp Store. What do we do? We don't. Hey, what do you want to plug?
Just the meme page. Just good old the damn meme page. Damn spelled DAM.
Link to that, obviously, in the show notes. I'll go ahead and link to the other podcasts that you're a part of too, Robert. They aren't ongoing, but when they come back, listeners, you will be able to be on the cutting edge of the trends.
Hell yeah.
Mentioned it like 4 times earlier, but a reminder that we are doing a review rally, I'm calling it. If you like the show and think it's worth your time, which I'm assuming you do because you did just listen to what was at least a 90-minute episode, if not longer, depending on what's going to look like when I finish editing it, maybe you think other people would like the show too. And if you think that, maybe you'd like to leave a review on wherever you listen to your podcasts. We'll even take a rating if you just listen on Spotify. Just let people know that this is a show that is worth their time, because that is a really great way when people are looking for other Percy Jackson podcasts, myth podcasts. It's a very full party zone, and I love to be a part of it. But people need to know what they should actually listen to. Tell them they should listen to us. And that would be really cool if you did that. And if you take the time, we'd love to shout you out. So send us a screenshot so we could definitely shout you out and thank you on the podcast. And then also potentially send you a free copy of this really cool book that I promise you're going to want to read because I'm not going to stop talking about it. I'm really not, especially these next run of episodes.
Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Robert, again, for joining us. You are definitely our most reoccurring guest. You are essentially a guest co-host at this point,
Yeah.
I think, as you have been upgraded. Guest co-host, Robert, of the Damn Meme page. We always appreciate.
Damn meme. Of course.
Thank you again, listeners. Until next time, don't be like Zeus.
Don't be like Zeus.
Do not be like Zeus.
Muses of Mythology is created and hosted by Darren and DJ Smart. It's edited by Darren Smart. The show is produced by Darren and DJ Smart, as well as
Tim O'Connor. The Crystal Conman. Nicholas Miller. Our music is Athens Festival by Martin Hain. And our cover art is by Audrey Miller. You can find her on Instagram at Bombshell Nutshell Art.
Want more Muses of Mythology? Support the show on Patreon. Just $1 gets you exclusive bonus content. Get more at patreon.com/Muses of Mythology.
You can also support the show by leaving a review at lovethepodcast.com/Muses of Mythology. Or tell a friend why you love the show.
Don't forget to check out all of our episodes and episode transcripts at musesofmythology.com.
Thanks for listening.